everyone, I'm Paul, and today I got another dangerous tree to cut, and I'm basically going to show you what I do when I cut a dangerous tree. This one situation here is kind of a different scenario. I've got this tree here. It's a white birch, and it's a leaner. It's leaning towards me here, and at the top, we're going to scan up here on the top. You can see that it's broke in half at the top. Well, not at the top, but at the middle. And you can come over this side here on this tree. You can see in front of me, if you look straight up in the tree, the crotch of the tree ended up catching the cedar. So what I've done so far is I've put a line up on the top where the where it's broke. You can see I'm just going to pull on the rope a little bit. Now that loop that I've got up there hasn't closed because I still have to get more tension on it, and I don't want to overdo it. Now the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to cut this tree for two reasons. One, this tree is still pretty healthy, and the other thing is because that tree there is, I don't know whether that's going to let go if I release this tree here. If I was underneath here cutting, and for whatever reason that broken piece decided to dislodge, that's coming down on me. So one thing I don't ever do is cut underneath something as dangerous as that. So what I've done is, as I mentioned, I've got the rope here rigged up. That is, the reason why I've got it rigged up is because of this scenario here. I'm going to release this tree here. I'm going to cut it. And when I cut it, and I'm going to try and pull it. And what I have to do is when I cut it here, I'm just going to come in closer. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to put a face cut in it like you would normally, or undercut. And the reason for that is that if you put a face cut undercut and then you do the back cut, the tree's not going to go anywhere and it's not going to come off the stump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a single angle cut. And the reason for that is I want this tree to drop, and I'm not going to cut it up high. If I cut it up high here, what will happen is that the tree will swing inward, and where it's kind of dislodged or broken at the top, it may fold enough and that tree, piece of tree may come down, and this one I'm going to lose all control on it. So what I want to do is I want to angle cut it as low as I can and get it to drop around here somewhere. Once I've got it dropped there, what I'm going to do, I have to pull this tree over to my right here. And if you come from my angle here, I'll show you. Come in behind me and you can see basically here, that shed is there. So I have to, and if you look up at the tree, you can see that it's leaning right over top of that shed. So if I cut this here tree and it lets go at the top, it's going straight onto that shed there. But I think there's enough up there. So what I'm going to do, as I mentioned, I'm going to cut it and then I'm going to swing the tree this way so that it lines up more in line with the tree here. And that will keep it away from the shed. Then I'm going to try and pull the tree straight out, and if it's going to hold, it would be great if it holds the top piece and pulls it all out at once, but I'm not too confident that it will. So I have my option here as to pull it out as far as I can, and then that's why I've got this rope here tied on there, and then I'm going to pull the second piece. If it disconnects at the top, I'll pull it separately. So let's get this started. My saw's already warmed up. I'm just going to make the cut and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, you can see basically I've got a very, very sharp angle, and as I mentioned, I just wanted to get the tree to drop out. Now that the tree's dropped out, it's still hanging at the top. We'll come from my angle over here. You can see nicely it's actually straightened a little bit. So now what I have to do, I'm going to use the rope here, and I'm going to pull this piece to my right. And the reason for that is I need to get this tree to line up, because if it lets go at the top, it's going on that shed. So I've got the rope set up here, and you can see right here I've got a snatch block already rigged up, and I've got the tractor right there to pull it out. So I'm just going to tie this up here. I would prefer to use a choker or a chain for this, because it would grab it a lot better on this type of a tree, because the bark is so smooth. Okay, so I've got it rigged up, it's ready to go, so I'm just going to jump on the tractor and pull it over. Okay guys, you can see I basically got my tree now in a nice alignment. We're going to go down here, I'm going to check it out. So now you can see here my tree has been realigned so that the bottom here, we're going to go on this side here, come over here with me, and you can see now my tree has been realigned so that I have it against this guy here, and it will be against that one. So now there's no way for this tree to go and hit that shed anymore. So the next thing to do is, what I have to redo is my rope here. I've got it rigged up there and I've got it rigged here. So what I have to do is I've got to get this piece and pull it straight out, and that's the next part. All right guys, what I'm doing here is I'm just taking the rope out from where I had it on the snatch block. Now if this was a self-releasing snatch block, I wouldn't have to do this, but in this case here I'm not using one of those, so, and most people don't have them, so I decided to use just the regular snatch block here. So what I have to do now is, and the reason why I'm taking it off is because the more I pull towards this, it's just going to jam it all up. So if it was self-releasing, it would let go, and then it would just let me pull it as the direction I'm pulling with the tractor. So what I'm going to do now is I got this one lined up. Now this guy's going to choke the top, and I'm going to put the line down here on near the bottom. Now the one thing I may have to do, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm going to see how the tractor does. Now, because I've got such a sharp angle here, is that it's going to dig in the ground a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it as I mentioned for now. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to put a little slack around here. Yeah, I'm going to do it like this. I'm just going to tie it up here. I want to try and keep it as low as I can get it. And the reason for that, obviously, is so we get a little bit of lift, if possible, with the tractor. So I need lots of rope for this. So we'll tie this up here. Holy smokes, I need a lot more. So we'll get it all tied up, and then once I get it tied up, we're just going to pull straight with the tractor, and we'll see how that all kind of works out. So there's my rope. Okay, so I just got to go out to the tractor and tie it up. Well, all right, guys, that came down rather nice. You can see I made a little bit of a dig in the ground, but not too bad. The nice thing is it came down. The small piece that was there, you can see it pretty much let go where it was. It was good that I put the second snatch block here. And what I had done is to make sure that it was going to come with me is that I had it so that it pulls it down rather than pulling it straight across. So anyways, this is tangled up in there. You can see it's pretty loose in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this down by hand. So just watch yourselves here, guys. Just going to pull it straight down. And at the same time, I'm just keeping my eyes so that I make sure nothing's going to fall. So this is not heavy or anything like that. So I've got it down there and I can just pull it forward. I'm going to pull it just a little bit more forward here, guys. And there we go. We got one nasty white birch tree down on the ground. We did it safely. And as I mentioned, one thing I don't do and I won't do is go underneath a tree and cut the tree that it's caught up in because that's just far too dangerous. So anyways, guys, the only thing I got left to do is just clean up a little bit of mess here. One thing about white birch is really nasty is that if I would have left that up there, what happens, white birch, got a piece here, I think. White birch really likes to rot. Once it's dead, it loves to rot. And this little branch that I got, you can see how it just snapped in my hand quite easy. Well, when this big branch is up there, even though it was lodged in on the trunk of it, this part here will start to rot and it will just drop at any old time. You could be just walking here and it'll just fall on the ground. So white birch is a nasty tree to leave. Any kind of tree that's dead, you don't want to leave it any longer than you can because it becomes far more dangerous. Anyways, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, you can do so by hitting that subscription button down below. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Gel and Outdoors.